All right, boys and girls. So today you are going to be working on writing and solving inequalities. So this is your warm up. You don't have it on your notes paper, but you have plenty of room up here on the top, or even better, flip it to the back. The back is blank um, for you to do your warm up. Go ahead, pause the video, work on your warm up. When you're done with your warm up, come back to the video. Okay. All right, so like I said, we're working on writing and solving inequalities. Um, our objective for today is I can model and write and solve inequalities to determine the solution or if the given values are true. Because so some of them they might give you a given value, and you have to figure out if it's true, or you have to find the solution. Okay, so very first thing you have um, is so what are some keywords for addition, subtraction, and multiplication and division? On your notes, it also asks blank is the inverse of blank. So let's go ahead and fill that in. So let's say subtraction is the inverse of addition. Okay. And then for subtraction, of course, it's addition is the inverse of subtraction. Then you have multiplication. What do you think would be the inverse of multiplication? Okay, if you said division, that is correct. Division is the inverse of multiplication. Okay, and then for division, the inverse would be multiplication. And the inverse would be the inverse of division. Okay, so make sure you write the words out and don't just put the symbols, because sometimes you get confused. Y'all later on you'll get confused and ask, why do I have an X here in, for example, for here instead of, what does that mean? Okay. Then here we're going to have some of our keywords for um, addition and subtraction, or for each operation. So what are some keywords for addition? Okay. So go ahead and pause your video for about a minute and try to come up with as many as you can for each word, and then we will review it. Okay. All right. So we're back. So total sum in all combined. Okay, and there's going to be a lot more. Hopefully you came up with more than just these. You came up with some of your own. Okay, and for subtraction, we would have fewer. Um, how many more? Okay, I'm going to change the color because this red on blue is hurting my eyes, guys. Um, left less than. Let me reset. I put it too close together. Okay, so those might be some of the ones for subtraction. Then for division, for multiplication, some of those might be each, rate, product, area of Okay. Then for division, we may have, again, each, those may work for, that may work for either one. Quotient, per, out of, into, if you're breaking it into. Okay. For multiplication, you may also have double or triple. Okay. Any multiple. Okay. So those are just some of them. Those are not all of them. If you came up with more, that's awesome. I actually would like for you to come up with your own and not just copy the ones I have. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to our next. Our first example. An example is an I do. So it says Jason wants to celebrate his birthday at the movies. Let me. Um, his mom gave him a $200 limit. It costs $12.50 for it costs $12.50 for each person. How many friends can Jason invite to the movies if he cannot spend more than $200? Then it says write an inequality to help Jason find the number of friends he can invite. So you're writing your inequality. Sorry. So this is the first problem on your notes. I was just making sure it wasn't on your independent practice. Sorry, guys. Okay. So it says, how many friends can Jason invite to the movies if he cannot spend more than $200? So if he cannot spend more than $200, whatever he spends at the movies has to be less than or equal to $200, right? So what are we gonna have on this side? All right. So we know that each movie ticket costs $12.50, and for each person, the word each means to do what? Multiply. Okay. So if it's remember our word that's attached to our multiplication word, then that means that's the one that's gonna be multiply. Okay. So it's 12.50x. Okay. And so this one doesn't have an additional uh amount. Okay. So it would just be like this. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our example 2. So it says Jocelyn has $45 to spend at the carnival. The cost for admission is $3. Let me fix that before I fix. It's right on your paper. I don't know. It was incorrect up here. She has $45 to spend at the carnival. So we need 45 is an important number. The cost for admission is $3. You have your keyword and the game tokens are 50 cents each. So we need to box in each because it's a keyword. Which inequality best represents the greatest number of games she can play? Okay, so it's asking us to match an inequality. We don't have anywhere to match it, so we're going to write our inequality. So instead of which, it should say to write. So we're writing an inequality. Okay, so let's go ahead. So if she has $45, can she spend more than $45? No, right? Because that's all the money she has. So whatever she spends at the um, carnival cannot be more than 45. So we're going to have 45 is greater than or equal to how much ever she's going to spend at the carnival. So at the carnival, it says the cost of admission, the cost for admission is $3. So she's going to spend $3 because that's how much she has to pay to get in. And we have our keyword and. And our keyword and means to do what? Add. Yes. So we didn't have that on our addition keywords. Maybe go back and add it. Okay. To it. And it says and the game tokens. So how much are the game tokens? 0.50. Okay. Each. What does each mean? Again, yes, multiply. So that's going to be attached to our x. So now we have our inequality. Okay. All right. So now that we have our inequality, let's go ahead and solve it to see how many uh, game tokens she can buy. All right. So we're going to start with, well, first of all, we have to rewrite this, don't we? So let's go ahead and rewrite it. So it's 3 plus 0.50x is less than or equal to 45. Let me go. Well, I'll leave that there. We don't need to erase it. So our first step would be to do what? Okay, so you see how we have our 3 over here and we have our 0.5x 50x here. We're still going to move the number that's farthest away from the x first, which would be the 3. Okay, so your 3, is that positive or negative? Okay. Positive, right? So you have to do the opposite, which is a negative 3. And what you do to one side, of course, you do to the other. So these two create a zero pair and cancel each other out. So you're going to have 0.50x is less than or equal to 42. So now you have to do what you would do here to get this x by itself, which would be divide, right? You divide by 0.50. So 42 divided by 0.50. So these cancel each other out and you have x is less than or equal to, so 42 divided by 0.50, 1, 2. So you have to move your decimal 2 space back. So can 50 go into 42? No. Can 50 go into 420? Yes. How many times? That would be 8, and that would give you 400. Subtract. You have 20 left. Bring down your 0, 200. So 50 goes into 200 4 times. 84. So he can buy, or he can get, the most tokens he can, game tokens he can get is 84. Or she can get, sorry. So Jocelyn can buy 84 game tokens. All right. So that was your we do. This is your you do. You're going to go ahead and do this one on your own. Okay. Go ahead and pause the video, write your inequality, and then come back to see if you have. Go ahead and pause the video, text code, and write your inequality. Come back to make sure you text coded your problem correct. Okay. All right. So you should have already text coded your problem and came back to make sure it was text coded correctly. So Alex has $125 saved in order to purchase a hoverboard. He has a job that pays $35 per day. Which inequality could be used to determine D? So here it's telling us that's the variable we're going to use. The number of days Alex needs in order to have more than $450. So we need to know more than, that's a keyword, and we need to know he wants to save 450. Okay, so again, it says which inequality, we're going to write an inequality. Sorry. Okay, so if Alex has 125, is that a positive or a negative? That's a positive. He has $125. And then it says he has a job that pays $35 per day. So is he going to be adding that to the money he already has or subtracting it? If you said add, that is correct. And then we have this keyword here, and this keyword means if he's getting it per day or the same as each day, it's multiplying, right? He's getting 35 today, 35 tomorrow, 35 the next day. So the money he's getting or the money he has is multiplying because he's adding to it. So per would mean to multiply. So if it's not on your multiplication list for keywords, go back and add it to that. So we have 35, which is can be used to determine D, the number of days. So that means we're using D as our variable, not X. Needs in order to have more than. If he wants to have more than 450, what inequality symbol are we using? Okay. If you said greater than, you are correct. All right. So go ahead and move on to your independent practice. It is right here. It says you will work out problems 1 and 2, and then with your partner, discuss the steps you took to solve the problems. After discussing number 1 and 2 with your partner, you will solve the remainder of the problems independently. Okay, so with your partner, do discuss those two problems. Um, Work out the two problems and discuss the steps for it. And then after that, you are on your own. Okay, your um, assignment for today is this sheet, this handout. Sorry, it's 3 pages. It is does not it seems like a lot. It's not a lot. It's similar to the writing, or sorry, to the linear relationship ones y'all did. Okay, you will do your work on here, and then you have a Google sheet in Google Classroom right here that helps you check your uh, answers. Okay, remember you open it and then you go to whatever level you're working on, um, like level 3, and then you would type in what you got as your X. So you type it, you drop down, pick your inequality symbol, and then you type in your number, and it changes to green if it's correct. If it does not change to green, that means it is not correct. So uh, make sure you use this accordingly to check your answers. Okay, please be on your best behavior for Miss Campos. I do not want to get a bad report from her. Okay, guys, once you're done with your independent practice, go ahead and complete your exit ticket. Also do it on the back of your notes. All right, have a good day, guys.